All right, so it's almost 8 o'clock at night, nighttime, p.m. And we went through the Wild Wednesday series here. Somebody sent me a link to this video, and I watched it. It's a guy running on some type of platform, maybe called Mbox, and he's on a 1 minute chart here, and he's looking at the buying and selling pressure, and you know, he takes a trade on here and makes $6,000, $6,100. It's pretty astounding. Um, I don't think I could trade the 1 minute chart to make 6 grand the way he's doing it, because he could have made 6 grand with half the position if he did it the way I'm doing it, because I could never step in to a market that's already, he's getting in the middle of, he's getting in the middle of the trend. So, I mean, I would get in the reversal in a smaller position. And I feel like there's less pressure to make $6,000 in a full auction. You may not get it, but I'd rather make the 3 grand, come back and do the same trade on something else. Now he just does this trade and that's it. And he's waiting for, obviously, he's waited for something to happen, because if you trade to the left side of this chart, this must be before the market opened or something. It's pretty dull, and it's not really worth, the swings here aren't big enough to overcome the commissions and the spread, I assume. And he gets in to this trade about here on the, let's get to the drawing tools here again. So this is what he said. My memory is almost as good as Biden's, so I can remember just a little bit from before ago. But like when I look at this thing, 1 minute chart, mind you, and this looks like some kind of swing indicator, because the candlesticks would be a little bit more jagged. And if you're looking for that doji, like here's 1 minute slam down. So if I was scalping it, I'd have buy limits here, and I'd probably dump out there. I don't know if that's 6 grand. I'd probably just break even on that. But he's into some giant position. I don't know what he's trading here. S&P 500 something. I don't know what the hell it is. He describes these kind of like Mbox supply exceeds the previous day. So this was the trigger for him. When he saw this big move, he's like, well, I want to get on that train. Now, you could have set a sell limit here, and you could have got in as you retouched that price there. So you had another chance to get in here, and he calls us Three Stooges. Now, he got into the trade, I think about here. So he really got in the middle. The top becomes the bottom, but I'm looking at the trap. So when they bid it up beyond here, if you got a sell limit, and I'm assuming this is a bid chart, you're filled on that, right? So you could run a very tight stop. I don't know if he's running a stop. I didn't see one, but for 6 grand, I'd run a stop. You know, I only want to lose like 10 grand maybe. I mean, I can't imagine sitting and waiting for this to do this one trade. Now, I don't know how many trades he does like that a day, but shit, I'd rather be in the trade for 4 hours and make 3 grand and just keep doing that trade over and over on different pairs, or just trading the wick and just swing trade, because to me, well, he's only in this trade for like 10 minutes. Till when he gets his target, is described as a place back here. He's got the target set at support. Yes, obviously, but the complexity in this entry is mind-boggling if you watch this video. And it's just like, wow, he goes into like, well, there's here, and look at there's effort, and kind of breaking down this narrative story so that, oh, look at this, you know. He says here there's a cumulative buying, and you get this, he says it's an effort but no result. Yeah, because it didn't break out and keep going, but it did go up, right? So I'd have to ask questions like, I guess what happens to most people is they say stuff like, look at this, you know, when I see this, I just don't trade. When I see it heat up and I see this big move, and this would be the more overbought, lower price kind of concept too, because even though he's got the scale here so shallow that the market really has to move to trigger another thing. Okay, so now I'm going to start making complaints. He's got so much of the screen donated to this, when isn't the price just telling you that? Like, once you get rid of all this, you can just stretch this to scale, and then you can see the high drama moments of a top become a bottom, and then it's like, oh, I guess you don't even know what day it is. Oh, he must be Joe Biden. Well, I like the way your hair stands up on your legs, but you don't even know what the fucking day it is. Oh, that's good. We want people like you. By the way, did you build that? Are you the one that built the model? Like the weather model. Anybody look at, go to Weather Underground, okay? Any day, there's 10-day projected modeling, and it looks like this. Well, it's going to be cold, hot, it's going to be cold, it's going to be hot, it's going to be cold. They don't fucking have a clue. Sure, that's the projections, And here, the same, I don't know. Like, he's staying in the trade because he's like, so when he does this video, he's, oh, look, I'm in. These are good signs. I like the way it's going. Yeah, I mean, this is a 1 minute chart. Dude, if you were on a 1 hour chart, you're talking about them tripping the wire here and trapping 1 hour breakout traders, so to speak, on just confirmation. Oh, it's going up. Let's get on the train. And then wah, wah, wah. And of course, going to support. Like, what could be more elementary? But when you get into this kind of complexity where you need all this to confirm your entry, I don't know. It's $6,000. What I'm thinking is that to make $6,000, you're going to feel more security if you got all these bells and whistles. But I pretty much know if I ran somebody over on the highway, I don't need the dashboard to light up. Oh, took out a little kid. Oh, took out took out a protester. Oh, sorry. I mean, after a while, this stuff, because if I see this, the first thing I'm thinking is, wait, is this a pullback? Should I get long here? Yeah, I guess so, right? It's pullback. Okay, let me write that down. Is that a good, when all these things confirm, should I pull the trigger? Or should I just say to myself, I want to sell high. What's the highest I can sell in this chart? Well, selling back here would have been great, but I don't think anybody wants to hold $6,000 of risk or potential, if you had a break even stop, I'm imagining, that you want to hold that till you get here and go, oh, finally out of that fucking trade. Man, here I was shitting my pants when I came back to here, like this rally here, you're short. You'd be like, oh, that's not good. Or he could have added to the position and said, you know what? Or he could have had a sell stop here and even made money and added to it. So he got into a single position, I'm assuming, because of all of this extra indicatorness, he's able to be more precise, right? Or are these just security blankets people use to make it okay to trade? I wonder, because, and the 1 minute chart for God's sakes, right? I mean, that's a brutal time frame. If you're thinking in terms of, well, this is a double bottom, I'll buy the second bottom here. I'll ride it to here. Better get off the train, right? Because you're coming into the seller's window. Or here, you're coming back into the buyer's window. You better take profits because they bid it up back into the floor in the 1 minute chart. It's a lot of work. It's a buy to sell, a buy to sell. And am I watching? Am I sitting here stalking the M box? When the M box went down here, would it trigger a buy? I guess, right? Because there's that's like a big fat thing. And if it's happening real time, like it is here, this big box here, what do you do? So this is a minute by minute thing, and then effort results, and I don't know what's unfolding real time. I think he knew this exit, see, before that even. So he's not using this totally. He's already got a structure exit. It was already picked here, and he tells you, well, that's support from back there. So in the end, it comes down to, you can have all this stuff to make it feel okay to trade. Because you're like, well, fuck. I mean, or even pit view or all this stuff people use. But I come to find that, I'm actually using RSI on my 5-period RSI on my phone because it clarifies the price at a glance. I don't have to. So if you're running RSI with candlesticks, RSI is like a line chart of closing prices, but it's just hypersensitive. But you can see when it's going up. When RSI has gone up in the last period, prices closed up, guaranteed. Guaranteed. That's the one thing about RSI, even 3-period, 5-period, if the market's gone up, RSI's gone up. It's how much did it go up relative to the last time it went up. So it's a moving average of prices. Okay, so The idea that it's part of this dirty dozen is just completely retarded. It's like blaming guns for people getting killed. You know, these guns don't have a mind of their own. You know, they're not, these guns aren't hunting people down. You got to pick it up and activate it, you know. So, you know, it's, and of course, watching your charts doesn't move the market either. That's another one you got to pay attention to. That if you click your mouse and you buy at the market, you can't put like English on it, and like you can't put spin on it. So I always buy one. Like in this scenario here, if I was selling, I don't think I'd trade this 1 minute chart he's doing here. It's just too much work. I'd rather just trade like wide and sloppy. You know, like, oh, I got orders every 10 pips for 70 pips down on the euro versus the yen. They're gonna take it into some hole. It's Wednesday. They're gonna clear out some vacuum somewhere, and we gotta get in some of that. By the way, if you're into real estate, it's time to go buying up these riot cities and putting in like Kevlar cubicle restaurants where not only can you not get the virus, but nobody can shoot at you. Okay? This is going to be the new norm. It's going there. It's going to go become like one of these things where technology, you know, you just have, you know, light, Trump light certified restaurants where the, you know, the infrared light, ultraviolet light blast every you gotta put goggles on though, because you want to lose your retina. Oh man, I'm watching this politics. It's just too hysterical. People just losing their minds over dumb shit. I just think everybody's trolling everybody else. You can't even be serious with some of the shit people are saying. It's like you're kidding, right? So that's disturbing all on its own. But then again, it reminds me of forex and people saying this, that, and the other thing. But sure, you could do this, you know, this pressure thing here and this guy's charting system. You can do this stuff, knock yourself out. But the Three Stooges cracked me up because about halfway through the video, after he enters, he pauses the video because he's not sure if it's going to go, you know, tank. So he's like, yeah, I'll come back to it. And then when we came back to the video, it's like, look at the Three Stooges here. I think, yeah, it's like the three marching. I don't know if that's a true, it's like a Japanese comedy Jewish pattern. Well, the Stooges were Jewish, so there you go. Jews are at it again. Yeah, what happened to the beating them up on the Jews? The Jews' lives matter. What is going on, people? Come on. Oh, it's just too much fun. So yeah, I found some outlet there on Facebook. I joined some hater groups, and I'm like, God, where have you been my whole life? I mean, yeah, fuck this stuff. And they don't censor nobody on there. There's people doing assassination threats in there, and nobody's saying anything. I prefer a moderator that doesn't moderate. If you don't mind, just fucking be honest. Be like Trump. Just be fucking honest. Be like, yeah, you're gonna fucking die. Okay, next question. Is that all? I gotta get on the plane. I'm fucking getting a Nobel Peace Prize. Get the fuck out of my way. Yeah, you know, you have to vote for Trump, even if you are a communist, because you want to live to see tomorrow. But yeah, if I had some time along with some of these fucknuts, I'd love to do some, carve them up a little bit, get out some tools, give them a tune-up. But, well, so we just had the market here. And I don't want to be in the market during the elections. So when November 3rd comes, I mean, I'm just going to tell you, if you're straight out goober, don't forget, these are forex, which I don't know what this is, guys. Trading mirror. Forex happens to be over the counter, which means there's no limits where the currencies can go when the elections come. So I would say stand back, do not trade, because even if you're right, the spreads might get wide. And I just wouldn't even bother, because you're talking about some trades may last for 40 milliseconds, and it might be 180 pips in 40 milliseconds, and they may not even if the spread goes to 75 pips because you're at some broker that can't get the latest prices, you're dead, right? So even a fixed pip broker is going to smash the market up and down so hard that you'd have to have like a 300 pip stop just to make 80 pips, right? Because we're talking psychosis. I would sit back and watch the show, but just a heads up. But if you're worried about, because today the FOMC came out, no big deal. It was spastic on the pound though, and I'm going to go to the pound chart here and show you. So yeah, I'm not into this complexity worship. This guy's into it, but yeah, hey, $6,000, Like I don't know what he does on a bad day. I don't know if that's a good day, but let that go. I mean, who cares? The thing is that do you like even trading in the first place, right? Do you like getting married? No, it depends. I think the only reason to get married is because getting divorced feels so good. Well, that's what they tell me. So I'm going to go with that. But so we have a cycle moves here on the dollar, and I went along the dollar, or I went short the yen, I should say. Everything I did today was yen. But this is the yen trade I got into before the FOMC came out, which is a dollar, thing, dollar versus the yen. And when it came to this hole this morning, I just started buying in this big giant hole. This was like not too hard to think about. And once again, I get in a little bit here, but then I start getting in more and more, and I just watch it fill up like I'm filling a car with gas, and I just watch it, and I don't want to buy at the market unless I see at the end of 4 hours I will buy at the market because it's made this climax move and it's just an easy, obvious, okay, 4 hours, and I know what time that is. That's going to be 1 in the morning or 5 in the morning or 5 at night, or it's 9 o'clock. So you could also trade this thing very simply on closing prices on a 4-hour chart. So if the market makes a small move, you run a tight stop. If it makes a big move, you run a wide stop. That's the rules for trading at the market as far as I'm concerned. And because that allows you to put a tight stop in when the market's quiet to make a lot of money, to make it, 3 to 5 times to 10 times your money for that one particular entry. And this is just common sense. I guess this is what's so not available, as you can see by people's behavior. It's just not available. And they don't want to do it anyways because it's no fun, And they've been people have atrophied a little bit, I think, as far as their thinking's concerned, their thinkingisms, because they're just watching so much Netflix and so much fucking... It's like they have so much candy, they don't know what real food is, That's to me, the cloud trading is kind of like this. Look at this. It's like glitter, Just get to put glitter on everything. So this is the fresh lows, I call it, So you're buying below here. So I bought below here, but then, of course, when it got below here, I bought even more. I scalped out of a little bit so far because we slammed up to here. And then what I do is I come in, and this is all based on what size I happen to be in. I come back in with the buy limits again. Because the last thing I want to do, I only want to trade 20% at the market because the market only trends 20% of the time. Not that there's a perfect correlation there, but the less you trade at the market, the less mistakes you would make or the less chasing you're going to do. So I've seen people trade where they just put on a trade, bingo, bango. You could get in. So on this chart, you could have got in at the market and said, well, I'm just going to sell here. Look, I got the volume's picking up. And, of course, right? Because as soon as you break this, and this is a bottom, they came at top, right? So I scalp to here. There's your obvious scalp. Get out. New sellers coming in. 4-hour chart. Okay. Since it's a baby move up, sell with a tight stop. This is 25 pip grid from here to here's 25 pips. So sell big, tight stop. Then they crash down. You make your 25, you make your 50, you make your 75 pips, almost 100 pips. As soon as it gets below here, you got to be thinking, well, this is where the buyers are going to come in. There's going to be big buyers here, and they're going to scalp it to here, and that would be my trade. Or we're going to curl over and keep tanking. Do I want to buy more, though? Yes, I do. I want to buy more down here. So should I go flat on this? Well, that depends, right? Are you in too big a position for it? Is it too much of a position? Are you in too big a position, I guess is the question. That's going to matter, right? I'm going to buy more down here, so let's do that. Let's buy more down there. Okay, so let's put some buy limits in here. Somebody's asking me about the scripts and everything. I think what I'm looking at here is time and price coverage. If I'm going to buy this, I want to go all day. I don't want to have to come back and do this trade. So in a 30 pip window, I'm going to buy 10K, starting at new lows all day. Set it and forget it. Now that's going to risk 43 bucks to make 37 bucks. It looks like break even pip wise, but I priced in the spread on that. So I'm going to lay another one here. Same thing here. Here comes the euro crashing in the new lows. I'm going to buy that all the way down. Okay. So here we go. We're just going to let it happen. I'm at 26 grand. I mean, 2,600 bucks. So let's see what happens. That one, another one is the pound's dropping. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to buy new lows on the pound. And then just keep layering these up. They last all day. So when I wake up in the morning, there should be money in the account. If it comes down here and does the retrace, I'm only trying to make 30 pips, so comes into new lows, we scalp out. So this looks like it's going to get filled. I just can't imagine now zooming in on this. Take the zoom in. Look at this thing. Man, it's just brutal, right? We haven't got filled yet. So here's the trick. Getting these guys densely packed enough here so you can afford that move, and then you have to have enough left over to buy below this round number or this 50-yard line here. And just really get in heavy down here all day long. Okay. This one I got to put a stop on and a take profit. So I'm just going to go for a 40 pip stop to make 80 pips. This is 800, but it's 5 decimal broker. Because I just got in that naked. I didn't even put a thing on it. So there, at least this one we did get filled on a limit. That was a market order I put in. I think either be just before I started the video or something. Here's the euro just got filled on a limit. So that's pretty conservative trading. So let's wait and see what happens. Now this is going to take a long time.